Hi friends, happy All Saints Day. So I wanted to start off by telling you a little story. A few years ago, I went on a trip to Spain and I walked into the Sagrada Familia Cathedral in Barcelona for the very first time. Now, Sagrada Familia means Holy Family in Spanish, and this cathedral is one of the most famous buildings in the world. I wonder if any of you have ever been there, or maybe you've at least seen a picture of it. If not, here it is. As you can see, it's a very unique and ornate building. I wonder if any of you have ever gone to the beach and made one of those drip sandcastles? You know, the kind where you have to use very watery sand and you grab a big handful of this gloopy, drippy sand and let it drizzle off your fingers to make a castle? Well, whenever I look at the Sagrada Familia, it reminds me of one big giant drip sandcastle. The architect who designed this interesting building is a famous Spanish architect named Antoni Gaudí. And his original plans are so elaborate that they have taken a very, very long time to build. Obviously, most of the building's finished, but there's still parts that are unfinished. They started working on it in 1882. That's 138 years ago. And they don't plan to finish it completely until the year 2026. So that's 6 years from now that this very old building will finally be completely finished. So anyways, before I visited the Sagrada Familia, I'd only ever seen pictures of the outside of the building. But when I walked inside for the first time, it took my breath away. I had no idea that it would be so beautiful. My favorite part were all of the stained glass windows. They seemed a little different from the stained glass windows that I'd seen in other churches because they didn't have any pictures or people in them. There were no angels or apostles or scenes from the Bible. They were tinted in bright rainbow colors and filled with all kinds of interesting lines and shapes, and they cast this beautiful rainbow glow over the entire sanctuary. As I walked around, after a while I began to notice that while they didn't have any pictures of people or things in them, the windows themselves were shaped a little bit like people. There were these round windows that looked a little bit like heads, and below them these long, rounded oval windows that looked like bodies. And when I looked even closer, I could see that the circle windows were filled with the names of holy people and places. It was the names of saints and sites of pilgrimage. And I had this wonderful feeling like I was surrounded by this host of angels, or as it says in the book of Hebrews in the Bible, like I was surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. Each window was a little bit different, with a different name and slightly different colors and shapes, but they were also all alike. They're all bright and human-shaped and beautiful. And I think this is a lot like saints. Sometimes we think saints all come in the same kind of shape. We think saints are only the very special people we see in stained glass windows or in statues in churches. But the truth is that all God's people are saints, and that we can be saints too. Saints are people who love God and love other people very well. And we can learn from the examples of the saints who have gone before us. And most importantly, we can learn from the life and the teachings of Jesus and follow him down the way of love. Even though we're all different, even though we have different talents and interests, and we come in different shapes, sizes, colors, we speak different languages and have different families and get different grades in school and live in different kinds of houses. Like those stained glass windows in the Sagrada Familia Cathedral, we are also in many ways all alike. We're all members of the human family. We're all beautiful and valuable and filled with our own special kind of light and goodness. So today, our friend Isla read our gospel reading, which comes from the book of Matthew. In this reading, Jesus is teaching us what it means to be God's people. He's teaching us how we can, slowly but surely, learn to become those saints. These verses are also known as the Beatitudes. I wanted to challenge you after this video to take some time to read through the Beatitudes again with your family. And as you do, make a list of all the qualities that you're hearing. What kind of a person is Jesus asking us to be? A few that I notice right away are merciful, peaceful, and compassionate. Now, one of the songs I've included for today's service is a really fun one. Maybe you know it. It's the song, When the Saints Go Marching In. You know, the one that goes, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, Lord, how I want to be in that number, when the saints go marching in. So it's a fun song, it's a happy song from the perspective of someone who's hoping to be among those saints that are marching in. Maybe they're marching into heaven and they want to be in that number with them. You know, it's not always easy to be all the things that the Beatitudes describe, but I know that God knows our heart, and God knows if inside we're singing, oh, how I want to be in that number. And with God's help, we can be.